possible, they have happened elsewhere.
What is keeping this momentum, this fire? 3 weeks, when we saw, I think, protests last week on Tuesday thereabout, it wasn't as if it's fizzling down. But then you look at today, it's coming back again. Do you believe in this Ford Foundation too? Ruto saying that there is NGO funding.
I don't know.
What is keeping this momentum?
I have no idea. I know a number of things. First of all, this is a revolution. If you are looking for it in any other way, you are lost. It is a revolution. A revolution is not necessarily what people know a revolution to be. A revolution can be a drastic change in the way people look at things. Mapinduzi ya mawazo na fikra. People begin to look at the world differently, and therefore things must now be done. That is the kind of revolution I am seeing. There was a revolution that was coming. The sort of violent revolutions. It was coming in Kenya. This, in fact, is God-sent. Is a bloodless revolution.
Despite the deaths?
No, I'm not looking at it in terms of that. I'm looking at it in terms of revolution that are destructive. They remove people from office, and there's a lot of destruction, and you go back to factory settings. Sometimes it takes you years to get footing again. That has been forestalled by this revolution, this Gen Z revolution. So because it's a revolution, people looking at it in terms of the physical presence or absence of demonstrators are missing the point. You get it? So that explains why you cannot judge it merely by how many people are in the streets or the absence of people in the streets. You'll be missing the point. Secondly, when you talk about Ford Foundation, I don't even know what Ford Foundation do. I just hear. And they engage in all manner of things because I never respect these things. I've never seen any benefit from these organizations. I'm not a believer in them.
NGOs.
They're just busybodies. In the past, they used to even be spy these arrangements of people spying on other countries and perpetuating some ideological, But what I know is this. Something of this magnitude will be attractive to many other players. The Gen Z revolution, I firmly believe, is very organic. Nobody organized for it. There is nobody leading it. Nobody's funding it. It is just organic. However, something like this must be attractive to certain people. So, a politician seeing this can see it as a moment, as an opportunity to exploit. So I'll not be surprised if there are people who now will get into this movement for their own ends. You may call their ends selfish, but everything is selfish in this world. Everything politicians do is selfish. So politicians could exploit this situation, try and run away with it, and get capital out of it. In fact, Raila has just seen it's not possible. There are people waiting in the wings. Not just local politicians. There could also be international players who might want to take advantage of the situation. So what I will be surprised is if a situation of this nature will fail to attract people wanting to take advantage of the situation. That I'll be surprised.
So what is the best way to handle the situation? President Ruto is calling out Ford Foundation on top of his vehicle, saying wacheni kuleta anarchy in Kenya. What is the best way of handling it if he knows? Is there something that he can do? Because it seems he's giving in to demands, but the fire is still on people's belly.
I'll just go back where I was. I'm doing another last word. I'm doing a video, I think, tomorrow. Another last word to Ruto. And I've said this. This situation is manageable. We can contain it. Ruto's presidency is not under any threat. Ruto's re-election is still possible. But there are things he must do and things he must not do. Without preempting what I will say, I just repeat what I've said in the past. To appreciate this is a serious situation. To appreciate the magnitude of the problem and the challenges he's facing and the country is facing, number one. Once you appreciate the challenges, the magnitude of the problem, then you know it's not a situation over which you can afford to be clever or play games. So any games they are trying to play, any being clever would mean you underestimate the gravity of the situation.
You know, there's this video trending of Ruto putting a halt to Harambes, and then he goes
somewhere
to say, let any bill, let any everything that you need, and then I will sort out.
Because he did not believe in what he was saying. You are coming up with measures, you are taking steps, not because you think they are necessary, because you think they will help you manage, play around with the situation. You cannot. It will not work.
Oh, so there are
even the bill.
Yeah.
You say you have rejected the bill, but you inject the fuel levy somewhere. You know, it means in the first place you didn't believe in what you are doing. You have to believe in what you are doing. My advice to the advisors of President Ruto and President Ruto himself: sit down with the people who can tell you the truth. The truth is simple. Number one, and I'm repeating, the situation is serious. And you cannot afford to be clever or play games. I want you to allow me to say something about why the situation is serious. The situation is serious not merely because there are diseases in the streets. The situation is not serious merely because people are running up and down shouting, Ruto must go. No. The situation is serious because the country finds itself in a certain state. I don't know what I'm saying. We are like people around a petrol tanker that has overturned and has spilled petrol, not diesel. That's a very dangerous situation to be around. It only requires one idiot to light a cigarette. Chasangwani, that's how people died. People are there trying to get petrol from the overturned tanker,
yes,
and some idiot lights a cigarette. That's where we are. That is why I'm saying this is a serious situation. It's not the demonstrations in the streets. Those we can handle.
Even if you talk about fuel levy, that's like
yes, we are joking. Yeah. Finally, to show you this thing is serious and why no country should allow itself to have that tension, I want to take you to Tunisia, the Arab Springs. People were not happy with what was going on in Tunisia and other Arab countries, which now led to the Arab Springs, the revolutions and the what have you. What happened in Tunisia? I think Tunis' head office was, people were just unhappy the way we are unhappy, and they were doing all these things we are doing. But one day, these hawkers, these young men selling cigarettes and sweets in the streets, candies and, this small carrying. And normally they'll be chased by city council
officers,
askaris or whatever, enforcement officers, what we call here Kanjo. So a Kanjo gets this boy and slaps the boy. And that Kanjo is a woman. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a woman. The woman enforcement officer, the Kanjo, slaps the boy because he's selling those things without licenses or in the wrong place. The boy gets so mad, he gets petrol and pours on himself, some sort of fuel. And then he sets himself on fire. And that's how Tunisia almost got burned, the whole country. And that's how the Arab Spring got where it got. And that's the point I'm making. You only need something small and you have the country on fire. Just something
small.
So every country should do everything, and that's why the intelligence should come in. The intelligence should make the political leadership understand tension in a country is not good. No monarch has been removed from power. No king has been removed from power because people were suffering. People suffer for centuries. But there's always something that happened once. A catalyst or something, an event. Something small that then pop. Why does it happen like that? Because there are many underlying issues and tensions and anger in the country. No country should allow that. The leadership of a country, with the help of the intelligence, must always have a barometer on the feeling of Kenyans or any country, the citizens. Look at the anger, the levels of anger, and try to mitigate those so that you have some semblance of a normal society. Because in a normal society, it doesn't mean there are no problems. There will be problems. But once it tilts to a certain level, it's no longer normal. And people can do anything.
Because you look at this Mukuru thing, they're blaming it on government. It could have happened even without the finance bill.
Yes.
But now it seems like it's the government.
It could be a very normal, it could be a cult.
Who has
But now, you see, do you know, nobody believes what the government is saying.
Yeah.
No, does anybody believe what the DCI has said?
Sadly.
But it could be true. It could be true. We have had similar incidents. We have had worse. Shakahola. But is anybody believing this?
No one. Everyone is thinking.
Nobody believes.
How can you have confessed Araka?
Yeah.
How could this have happened without NIS knowing? Why?
We are in a certain state as a country where government cannot be believed.
Is this where it gets the end? Is this the end of Ruto's regime where no one believes him? Can he come out of it?
He can.
And even if you tell me that, is he up to task in dealing with this situation?
The Ruto can come out of this. To me, if you ask me, as a person who understands this country and the politics of this country, and I hope NIS, they should listen to me. According to me, this is a small matter. It's not difficult. But how you handle it, how we handle it as people, is what will determine whether Ruto survives, whether indeed we survive as a country or not. How we handle it.
It doesn't have to be Ruto surviving.
No. It's about the country. It's not about Ruto. Ruto can go tomorrow, but we are still in problems. In fact, when presidents have resigned, the prime ministers have